Alright guys, it's me Ira, and today I'm going to be talking about reading what's happening in a game and reacting to your focus and what other players might do in the future. By this I mean making sure you always know if a druid is going for the cyclone and reflecting it. Also how to kind of know when mages are going to deep freeze you and go for burst. And you know, things like reflecting druid's instant cyclone. Also I'll be looking at how to keep your teammates out of crowd control and, you know, keep reading what's going on, keep reading what your focus is up to, because your focus is a very important person. It's going to be mainly their healer or someone who's casting a lot of CC onto your team, so you want to be able to keep them out of crowd control. Now first thing we're going to touch on is spell reflecting the clones, polymorphs and deep freezes and other crowd control, but mainly cyclones, and why it's so huge to do in a game. Basically this season you're going to be seeing a ton of resto druids due to them being pretty strong at the moment, and one of the main ways druid healer teams win and get crazy pressure is by rotating clones on people and just cutting your pressure in half and helping them gain a ton of pressure. Cyclone is undispellable, and unlike polymorph and blind, it won't break on damage, so you are literally rendered useless for the period of time it's up. Now if you can reflect it, you can turn pressure from their team into your pressure because you've effectively CC'd their healer. Not only that, but reflecting cyclone is a psychological thing for a druid. Let's say you reflect 1 or 2 clones in a longer game. Do you really think that druid's going to want to try clone you again? Think about it. The druid's going to start thinking that he's having a bad game, he's getting all these clones reflected, so he's going to focus more on healing and not crowd controlling. And a lot of spell cleaves and druid spell cleaves at high rating really do rely on them cyclones from the druid. A lot of mid-level druids just won't even be, want to clone because they'll be too scared of it getting reflected. And with the new talent AoE Spell Reflect for warriors, which I do use sometimes, but sometimes I do use Safeguard, it makes it super hard for you to get cloned unless it's out of a bash. What you want to keep doing is keep an eye on that focus bar or even on the druid for what he is up to. Remember, Cyclone has a pretty short range, so most of the time the druid will move a little closer to you to get in range for it. Also keep in mind that most druids have macros, which means they will not target you all the time to clone. But then if he runs to you and gets in range and is facing your direction, be prepared to reflect, because reflecting clones is a huge bonus for your team and can really turn games that are lost right around. Now here's some examples of reflecting clones, and basically, especially me at the moment, I have to be pretty quick with the reflecting because I play on American servers and obviously I'm playing from England, so I do get like 120 ping. Though it's not too bad, but yeah. Just always watch out. If the druid targets you, he's going for a clone. If he's starting to cast it, if he's shuffling towards you, he's probably going to try get that clone. So yeah, just keep your eyes out, and yeah, you should be able to reflect more clones from resto druids in the future. Now let's touch on, if I can stop clone, what can I do for my teammates? Now let's have a look. You have AoE Spell Reflect, you have Gag Order until the nerf, you have Charge, Shockwave, Fear, a number of ways you can do clutch things to stop your partners getting into cyclones and other forms of crowd control. Now with the huge amount of interrupts you have, you really do want to try your best to keep your team out of crowd control, because at the end of the day, it's one thing keeping yourself out of the clones, but if you can stop a druid from cloning your partners alongside that, you're going to have a huge advantage in the game. One thing I found out is that from time to time when a team is going offensive and they have a druid, the druid's going to try Displace a Beast, Pounce, Cyclone combo onto your healer, and it's vital you stop that if possible. One thing to remember is that the druid will drop off your focus bar, so you'll need to have your mouse ready to quick target him and charge onto him. Things like mouse over charge macros will help with this if you're finding it tough to do. So just keep that in mind. Displace a beast, pounce, clone. You've got to be in there to charge that clone to stop your healer getting crowd controlled. Because basically, if your healer gets in a clone against a spell cleave, it's going to be a clone into a fear, into a polymorph, into so much other crowd control. So you've got to stop that initial CC. Now here's an example of the pounce cyclone tactic a lot of druids like to do, and I'm going to show you how I stopped it in a game.
You have to, my demon souls now.
He's gonna pummel me.
Pummel it.
Good shit, dude.
I'm actually hitting druid hard now. If you can
I mean, Shadow Priest.
Now what you'll notice is that he's gone into stealth, so I've got no focus. If he's Displacer Beast, it's made me lose his focus. But I notice him pounce my healer, and he says he's pounced, and instantly I'm going to target him, heroic leap over and pummel that cyclone, which will stop a crap ton of pressure coming onto me.
Yeah, I'm here in the
Last round,
middle.
you. Feed them all. Feed the clone, don't worry. Charge that.
You didn't put marks again.
No problem.
There's your.
Can you do something about the druid?
No. Pummel
Because
down.
they-
Yeah,
Kinda out.
he's full clone. He trinketed.
Hey,
Trinketed.
Okay. Pummel Frostbomb. He can't block.
Bursting with you.
Okay, he's got Bart skin. Charge clone.
Feared. Careful, I'm feared.
Okay,
Can
blank.
you wall?
If you don't.
So yeah, that's it for today's lesson, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you learned a little bit as well. Just remember to watch for them pounce clones on your healer and your DPS, and just make sure you keep looking at your focus bar, focusing on people, and I'll cover more other things you can do with Spell Reflect in another episode later on. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you guys very soon.